So, you're looking for Halloween book recommendations. Well, I've got a whole bunch for you. Let's kick things off with one of my favorite Crystal Lake Publishing titles, Midnight Horror Show. This is by Ben Lathrop, and it's an absolute love letter to everything we adore about horror. So think drive-ins, spook shows, horror roasts, those late-night monster marathons that shaped an entire generation. The story drops us into Du Bois, Iowa, Halloween of 1985. A respected member of the community has been brutally murdered, and Detective David Carlson has no clues, no motive, and nothing to go on. Except for one bizarre lead. A local legend about Boris Orloff, a horror host who burned to death during a Halloween performance at the drive-in 20 years ago. And wouldn't you know it, there's still a teenager in town who's keeping Boris's memory alive. There always is, right? As the bodies start piling up, Carlson gets dragged deeper into a nightmare that feels ripped straight out of the horror movies the town used to watch at the drive-in. And here's the kicker. The drive-in is reopening at midnight for one final, unforgettable show. So what I really enjoy about this book is how it captures that horror vibe, part campy, part terrifying, dripping with nostalgia, but also genuinely chilling. It's a murder mystery wrapped up in a monster movie with nods to everything from Edgar Allan Poe to H.P. Lovecraft to those late-night creature features hosted by legends like Elvira. If you've ever had a soft spot for dusty VHS tapes, fog-drenched small towns, or those horror hosts who could make you laugh one moment and shiver the next, this book is basically Halloween in paperback form. Next up is How to Create a Monster by John Ward. It's perfect for Halloween, and it's the second book in John Ward's Scareville series of middle grade horror. The story takes us to Beaufort, Georgia, where Halloween used to be the highlight of the year. So the small town went all in, well, they used to, haunted house decorations, creepy costumes, the works. And for Emily and her family, it wasn't just a holiday, it was a way of life. Every October was their season to shine. But over time, things started to change. The gore and the chills gave way to cute pumpkins, silly costumes, and suddenly the scariest night of the year just felt watered down, which Emily, of course, didn't like. In fact, she wished that Halloween could go back to its terrifying roots. And this is where things get interesting. So, because sometimes when you wish hard enough, the universe might actually answer back. Emily's longing for the old school Halloween magic brings something back, but it's darker, stranger, and far more dangerous than she ever imagined. What I love about this book is how it taps into that universal feeling we've all had, missing the way Halloween used to be. But then it flips on its head, asking, what if we actually got our wish? Would you be ready for the nightmare that follows? So this one is chilling, atmospheric, and the perfect reminder to be careful what you wish for. Now let's talk about Kevin Lucia's October Nights, a book that feels like Halloween distilled into stories. If you've ever read Ray Bradbury's The October Country or fallen in love with the eerie atmosphere of Charles L. Grant, which I have, of course, this one's going to hit that same sweet spot. So we're back in Clifton Heights, Kevin's signature small town where strange things lurk behind every door. But this time, it's Halloween night, and here that means anything can happen. The book gives us 4 interconnected tales, each one tied together by the town's dark spirit. You'll meet a priest who hears a ghostly confession that changes him forever, a young man who gets the chance to flip his fortunes, but at a cost that may be too high. A grieving pastor running from his own tragedy, only to stumble into something worse. And finally, 2 people with supernatural gifts forced to battle a living nightmare on Halloween itself. What's special about October Nights is the way each story adds another layer to Clifton Heights. So it's not just about one night of horror, it's about the town itself that seems to actually breathe Halloween. The atmosphere is heavy with autumn leaves, haunted pasts, and the feeling that the veil between worlds is always paper thin here. For anyone who loves small town horror, where the setting is as much a character as the people, October Nights is the perfect read. It captures both the magic and the terror of Halloween, and reminds us why this season is our favorite. Up next is another powerhouse from Kevin Lucia, The Horror at Pleasant Brook. Definitely one of my favorites. If October Nights was about the quiet magic and mystery of Halloween, this one is pure, relentless terror. The setup is classic, but the execution is brutal. A small town on the edge of the Adirondacks finds itself under siege by something ancient, something malevolent, something that doesn't just want to frighten, it wants to consume. What makes the story so gripping is who steps up to fight back. It's not the usual heroes, but the forgotten ones, the outcasts, the people everyone else underestimates. They're the only line of defense between Pleasant Brook and an evil force so pitiless and so unstoppable that resistance feels impossible. Reading this, I couldn't help but think of a mashup between Lovecraft's Cosmic Dread, Stephen King's small town cast of unforgettable characters, and the claustrophobic menace of a John Carpenter film. So it's chilling, violent, and absolutely unrelenting. As Tosca Lee put it, you can skip the Halloween movies this year and dive straight into this book instead. The Horror at Pleasant Brook plays like the scariest horror film you've never seen. If you're looking for small town horror turned up to 11, this one's a must-read for your October list. Now here's something special for Halloween lovers, Halloween Beyond, part of Crystal Lake's Dark Tide series. This one's an anthology of 3 novellas, each tied together by a mysterious chain of pop-up stores that seem to appear across America every October. Step inside one of these stores and you're stepping into something far stranger than just seasonal shopping. The first story, The Talking Board by Lisa Morton, follows Kayla, whose sister vanished in the woods one Halloween night. When Kayla visits Halloween Beyond, the shop's eerie clerk convinces her to take home a talking board. Ouija, but with extra bite. Soon she's receiving messages that claim to be from her missing sister. But of course, the question becomes who or what is really speaking from the other side. Then there's New Blood by Lucy A. Snyder, where Maddie's excitement for her first Halloween in a new town quickly turns into terror. A Devil's Night Party unleashes eldritch horrors that don't just threaten the holiday, but her entire family. Finally, A Gentleman's Suit by Kate Maruyama. It tells the story of Lex, who discovers that Halloween Beyond doesn't just sell costumes, it sells transformation. The store provides Lex with the perfect outfit, one that allows people to finally see them for who they truly are. But this Halloween isn't just about self-discovery. Lex's father, the proclaimed king of Halloween, or I should say self-proclaimed, has built an elaborate haunted yard attraction featuring a massive animatronic Grim Reaper on a boat. And on Halloween night, this creation takes on a terrifying life of its own. What I love about this anthology is how it blends nostalgia with fresh, modern themes like identity, family, grief, all filtered through the lens of Halloween magic and horror. 3 unique stories, 3 unique voices, 1 unforgettable night. If you're looking for variety in your October reading, Halloween Beyond is a perfect pick. Okay, so if you're like me, sometimes you don't have time to sink into a whole novel in October, but you still want that Halloween chill. That's where the Shallow Waters Halloween Anthology comes in. This collection is packed with 18 flash fiction stories, all short, sharp shocks designed to be devoured in a single sitting. I compiled and edited this one myself, so take my word when I say it's perfect for when you're just between parties, waiting for trick-or-treaters, or just craving a quick scare before bedtime. What's really fun here is the varieties. You'll find everything from haunted houses and cursed candy to folklore-inspired horrors and Halloween traditions gone very, very wrong. There's The Pumpkin Fetch by Bram Stoker Award winner Tom Deedy, Mummy's Boy by Karen Bailey, Tumshy by William Mickle, Shackled to the Shadows by Richard Thomas, and many more. Each tale offers a different flavor of fear, some creepy, some funny, some chilling enough to make you double-check the locks on your doors. The best part, because these are flash fiction pieces, you can pick up the book, read full Halloween tales in just a few minutes, and still walk away with goosebumps. It's like a grab bag of Halloween candy. You never know what you're going to get, but every bite is a treat. If you love the season, but your October calendar is packed, Shallow Waters Halloween Anthology is the perfect way to sneak in a scare or two leading up to Halloween. The entire Shallow Waters series actually spawns from our monthly flash fiction contest on our Patreon page. This is the Patreon page for the House of Shadows and Ink. It's free to enter and includes cash prizes, and our patrons get to vote on their favorite stories, and the winners will be published in anthologies like this one. Our run of the Shallow Waters Anthology series is over, but the winners are still being published in our new Hotel Macabre Anthology series. Links in the description. Next up, we have not just one book, but an entire series steeped in Halloween vibes. John Durgan's The Newport Curse. This is small town horror at its finest, with a legacy of blood and secrets that refuses to stay buried. The first book, The Cursed Among Us, takes us to Newport, 20 years after the infamous Black Heart Killer's reign of terror. The woods where these murders happened are practically forbidden territory, which of course means that 15-year-old Howie Burke and his friends just have to go there. Armed with a camcorder and teenage bravado, they uncover something much older and much darker than they expected. What follows is a terrifying mix of found footage horror, small town mystery, and the kind of relentless dread that doesn't let go. Then we get to the sequel, Consumed by Evil, which raises the stakes even higher. The aftermath of a Halloween massacre still hangs heavy over Newport, and Jessica Black's terrifying legacy continues to poison the town. Howie, Corey, and Bethany are forced to face not only the scars of what they've survived, but a coven of sinister plans that threaten to consume Newport itself. It's darker, bloodier, and full of betrayals that cut as deep as the scares. What makes this series work so well is the continuity. You really feel the weight of history pressing down on these characters. Newport isn't just a backdrop, it's a cursed place where horror has roots that go generations deep. And here's the exciting part. It isn't over yet. Book 3, Conjuring the Demon, is coming in 2026. So if you're looking for a series to binge this Halloween, you can dive into The Cursed Among Us and Consumed by Evil, and then be ready for the horrors to come. Next on the list is The October Boys by Adam Millard, a story that proves sometimes the scariest monsters don't just haunt our childhoods, they come back for us when we're grown. It all starts in London, 1988. A group of kids set out on Halloween night for the ultimate trick-or-treat adventure, but their fun takes a dark turn when they hear the eerie jingle of an ice cream truck, completely out of place on a cold autumn night. The truck is decrepit, the driver a shadowy figure, and when the night is over, one of the boys is gone. Vanished, no trace, just a nightmare burned into the memories of those who survived. Now we fast forward to 2016. Tom Craven, one of those kids, is now an adult still haunted by visions of that night. And he's not the only one. His old friends, scattered by time but bound by trauma, are drawn back together because the ice cream man has returned. And this time he's coming for all of them. What makes the October Boys so effective is the way it blends coming-of-age horror with a revenge of the past kind of story. Think It meets Stranger Things, but with a chillingly unique villain in the Ice Cream Man. He is one of those monsters you'll never forget once you've met him. This is a gripping, suspenseful ride filled with nostalgia, dread, and the question that drives all great horror. Can we truly ever escape the nightmares of our past? For Halloween reading, The October Boys is an absolute must. Now let's head back into the Dark Tide series with another Halloween collection, this time featuring 3 novellas that showcase just how versatile the season of fear can be. All 3 stories take place in and around Clifton Heights, which I'm sure you've heard about by now, that infamous little town where October always seems a little darker and seems to last forever. First up is Daughter of the Mists by Kevin Lucia. Here we follow Clifton Heights' biggest horror movie fan, the guy who knows his monsters inside and out. But when his own life starts to mirror one of those films, he quickly realizes that the creatures he idolized on the big screen are far more savage when they step into reality. Then there's Once Upon a Halloween Night by Jeremy Bates. This one strips the supernatural away and reminds us that the worst monsters are sometimes the people standing right next to us, Two brothers in the days leading up to Halloween discover just how cruel and dangerous human beings can be. Finally, Jason Perrin's Brothers takes the Halloween party trope and drenches it in horror. Rand and Henry just want to pledge to the most popular fraternity on campus, but their initiation ritual spirals into humiliation, torment, and something far worse. Because lurking in the shadows is a presence eager to share Rand's pain and deliver revenge at a Halloween party that no one will forget. What I love about this volume is how it blends three different flavors of horror: classic monsters, real-world cruelty, and supernatural vengeance, yet ties them all together under the blood-soaked banner of Halloween. If you want variety but still crave that October atmosphere, this Dark Tide collection is an excellent pick for your spooky season stack. And now for our final pick. I thought we'd end with something a little different. Why stop at reading horror this Halloween when you could be writing your own? Shadows and Ink, Mastering the Art of Horror Writing and Publishing, is a guide that I put together for Crystal Lake Publishing, drawing not only on my own experience as a publisher, editor, but also on insights from some of the biggest names in the genre. Graham Masterton, Scott Nicholson, Lucy A. Snyder, Lisa Morton, Elizabeth Massey, Tom Deedy, and Gwendolyn Kist. Inside, we cover everything from the basics of character, story structure, advanced techniques for building dread and atmosphere. You'll find guidance on how to craft unforgettable villains, how to weave in subtext and suspense, and even how to take care of your own health and creative energy as an author. It's part history, part practical craft book, and part career guide for anyone who dreams of seeing their name on a horror novel someday. Although it's mainly focused on horror, this book also applies to anyone who writes dark fiction, speculative, supernatural, thriller, suspense, any kind of creative fiction writing. The same rules apply. This book is just focused mainly on writing and the history of horror. So if this Halloween inspires you to do more than just read scary stories, if it makes you want to write some of them, this book is the perfect place to start. Who knows? Maybe next year your book will be on someone's recommended Halloween reads.